Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Curious Talk Live. I am Rodney Garcia, your host with the most, the Tito of Tech, and thank you for joining us today. It is April 26, 2021. It is actually the last Monday of April, and next week it's going to be May. We're right there in the middle of the year, and well, wherever you may be right now, whether you're joining us here on YouTube and Facebook, or even on Twitch, we're also live on Twitch. Good evening, everyone. Whether you're also here in Manila, Philippines, or you are joining us from somewhere around the globe, thank you for joining us. And we appreciate that you're here today. Today's going to be a very different kind of format because we do have a special guest on the show tonight. So we won't be having any Tito Tech news. Although I do want to talk about the whole Apple event that happened last week, but I know a lot of we'll probably have another episode on that, or maybe I'll make another video on that. But for tonight, we have a special guest, and this special guest that we have is someone that I've known for quite some time, and I'll give you a little introduction on that. But first and foremost, let me just go through the whole, spiel of what we're gonna do tonight. So. Um, First of all, we want to just encourage you, if you are watching us on Facebook, please go to YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, you happen to stumble on us tonight, please do go and click or go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Curious Tech Life, and please click subscribe. We are just a few more hundred people shy away from our goal of 1,000 subscribers. I know that's something that every new YouTuber and every new YouTube content creator is aiming for, and we are no exception. We're hoping to reach. So please do me a favor, go there and follow us, or sorry, subscribe, and also watch our other stuff there. And we're churning out videos every single week, and also our live videos as well. If you are on YouTube, please follow us on Curious Tech Life. Sorry, not YouTube, rather Twitter. It's right there on the screen below. And also, if you are watching us on Facebook, maybe you stumbled upon us by accident, please do like our page as well, so that anytime we have videos and live stream and all of that, and you'll just be alerted, very quickly. Now, if you happen to have some questions for our guest speaker tonight, our very special guest tonight, if you got questions, hey, all you need to do is this. You just figure out where the chat button is, or the chat place is, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, and it's going to show up here on my screen. And we're gonna be able to address those questions if we can answer them. Okay, don't ask anything that it's not related to the topic. But you are more than we are more than happy to welcome your questions related to the topic tonight. Now, let me just give you a little introduction to our guest speaker tonight. Well, it's not a guest speaker, but a special guest tonight. In fact, our guest tonight is our very first in studio guest. When I say in studio, virtual studio, she's not right here beside me, but she is remotely somewhere in the Philippines, where there's a lot of nice beaches and nice waters and all of that. You want to, that's a hint. She's actually in Boracay right now. Lucky her, no? Nasa Boracay siya, no? Dito tayo sa kung saan-saan man siya. She is in Boracay, and yet she is still doing what she loves doing. But let me give you an introduction and tell you more about this person. She is actually a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Architecture in the University of Santo Tomas, batch 2003. Got her license the following year, and she has about 16 years of experience. And we're going to talk a lot about that tonight, because she has done something that I only a few people have done. And I would even say only a few people have done successfully. And the whole goal of the episode tonight is that you can learn from her, and whatever your craft is. Let's hope that the same path, or not necessarily the same path, but the methods that you can learn from her and the experience and all that is something that can inspire you, that may take your business or your craft or your hobby or your passion to the next level. And we're going to talk about that tonight. Her I'll ask her her full name, but I don't know if I can say her full name because I only know because I call her by her like her nickname, right? But I'll bring her in a few moments. So she is known as and branded as the digital architect. That is her brand name. And we're going to talk about how she became just an architect to the digital architect. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. It is such an honor and pleasure to welcome my very first guest in the show of Curious Talk Live, Miss JP Espino. JP, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me, Pastor Rodney. Good evening, Pastor, and good evening to all your viewers. At I'm very happy to be here. Tayo naman magchichikahan, and I am honored to be your first guest for the Curious Tech Live
Actually, if you remember last year, we had I was a part of your digital architect live stream, and
session.
medyo
Yeah.
na, yeah, session, right? No, tapos we actually
Mm-hmm.
talked about, sabi ko, I'm actually in the process of talking or putting together a live stream show, pero it takes a while pala, no, for all the pieces to come together, and so
Mm-hmm.
happy that you can join us all the way from Boracay Island. Oh my
Boracay.
goodness gracious, huh?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You are in Boracay. Practically everybody who's in Manila right now, considering it
Mm-hmm.
is April and May, summertime, everybody is hoping that and they're wishing and praying na sana nandiyan sila sa Boracay,
Yeah.
and yet there
Uh-huh.
you are living the life there. So by the way, bago tayo, before we go to the interview, no, but let me just ask you, why are you in Boracay?
Well, prior to bago lumaki ng husto, yung, because remember, we've been in quarantine in pandemic for a year, pero naglaylo siya for a while eh. So, nung time na naglaylo siya, what's this, lumuwag yung travel, and there's not so much of COVID cases, lumabas kami. We went out, we went first to Cebu, bought what's this, unlimited flight from an airline.
Wow,
So we can practically go anywhere within the Philippines
unlimited
for the whole
flight.
of 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, oo. So we got that and we
Meron pa
planned
ba? Meron pa
to
bang
go
meron pa
around
ba?
because we
Wala
were
na.
in lockdown for wala na.
Wala na. Sorry
Oo.
guys. You're
So
stuck in Manila.
our first stop was Cebu. We went to Cebu first, and then we stayed there maybe a week, and then we jumped to Dumaguete, went back to Cebu, and then we went back to Manila just for 2 days, just to pack our things again. And then lipad na kami dito for
Grabe.
Boracay. And we plan to go
Wow.
around the Philippines the whole year. That's the plan. But yun nga, nag-blow up yung COVID cases again, and then there's another
Mhm.
ECQ, we are on lockdown,
Mhm.
so we are stuck here, but we are very, very pleased that we are stuck here. Diba? I mean, at least
the, the
here
best
we
place to
have
get
the
stuck,
view
no?
of the
In
sun and
paradise,
the
sabi nga
beach.
nila.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, actually, if you're
Ayun.
following her on either on Facebook, on Instagram, and all the other social media accounts later on, we'll talk about that kung saan ka pwede nilang i-follow. But
Mm-hmm.
lately, you
Mm-hmm.
see her. Most of her posts are by the beach, by the by the shore. So walang masyadong concrete,
Yeah.
panay powdered sand. So nakakainggit in a way,
Mm-hmm.
pero I'm happy that you're there. So anyway, thank you again, JP, for saying yes. And we're praying that the signal there is going to be a consistently strong signal. So tell me about, you actually graduated the University of Santo Tomas, no? So go UST, yung mga taga
Yep.
UST dyan, hi, yung mga nanonood. So you
Black gold, black
graduated
white. Yep.
way back in 2003.
2003.
And then you got your license in
Yeah.
2004. Galing, ano? Praise God, no? Na
Mhm.
nakuha mo kagad
Right
yung
away.
yung
Mm-mm.
yung right away. Some people take a long time, but
Mm-mm.
that's something
Mm-hmm.
of an accomplishment. No? But why architecture?
Mm-hmm.
What made you decide?
Okay, why?
Okay, because most people kasi might rather go here or there, but why architecture?
Mhm. Well, as young as probably 4 or 5 years old, I've been told, nakakwentuhan na ako ng dad ko na, alam mo anak, ang ganda pag architect. Kapag architect ka, this is what you're gonna do. You'll get to design houses, you get to design buildings. There's so many things to do. So let's just say as little as 3 or 4 years old, brainwash na ako ng dad ko, be an architect, only because he wants to become. He really wanted to become an architect, but law would like him to become an engineer. So let's just say his frustrations of being an architect, sort of was passed on to. I was able to love the idea. I enjoyed his stories. I enjoyed the things that he would tell me that I could become an architect. So I followed through with a dream, and I'm glad that I did be myself doing something else but architecture. You're gonna ask me, I remember I've been seeing some meme of what are the three top choices that you'd like when you were little. Is it just, you have to choose three, and I could honestly
Mm-hmm.
say the first one architecture, the third one is still architecture. So I don't see myself do, and I kind of stumbled upon it because of my dad's dream, but I enjoyed it being an architect.
So basically, it was your dad that really influenced you. No, hindi ka naman na force. It wasn't really something that was forced
Mm-hmm.
on you. That because I know there may be some people who were maybe their parents like told them you have to be an accountant, or I know someone who was being asked, oh, you have to be an accountant or something like, or
Mm-hmm.
doctor or lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
and they resisted because they couldn't find it in their
Mm-hmm.
system to become one. But in your case, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a hard sell for you. What made it easier for you to
Yeah. I
parang see yourself as an architect?
see it as being forced kasi bata pa lang ako, I like drawing as well. I was also very good at math. And then when I got into college, the the things that we are studying, like history of architecture, theory of
Mm-hmm.
architecture, I really liked it. So the whole process of my journey from the girl who was told that architecture is to me becoming the real architect with the license and all was very smooth, that I enjoyed every part of it. So I don't force, and if I probably would have changed. I've been in the industry for 16, 17
Mm-hmm.
years now. So yeah, obviously nagustuhan ko naman.
Grabe, no? 16, 17 years din, no? Matagal din siya, no? It's been were you able to work for like a corporate setup, no? Were you given an opportunity to handle the certain projects, no? Maybe some of them, do we know some of these projects, or ano ba? Is that something that we can disclose or something? But maybe you can tell us
Yeah, of
about it.
course. Mm-mm. I went through the phases of architecture. So I started with um, high rise build as a project architect. So meaning I got to be more on in charge of supervision, construction, and then after high rise building, retail. I was a mall architect for Robinson's malls, and that was the time I was early 20s. So and it's a fun thing to be kasi my only job was to go to mall, go out of around the mall and look for something nice to do and then present it to your boss and ask for millions
That's
that you can
nice.
actually proceed with the project. After retail, after commercial, I went on my own. An engineer offered me partnership, so nag-design and build ako. So from design and actual construction, yun din. And I also had projects as For industrial, I did gasoline stations.
Mm.
So, lahat na. Ang hindi ko lang yata nagawa, honestly, was a church. And,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, institutional, wala pa ako masyadong project na institutional. Mhm.
So
Wait lang.
for
Sasaksa
16
ko lang. Tapos
years,
natanggal yata ang aking battery.
that's okay. Sige, go ahead. So
Yeah.
for 16 years, you've handled different kinds of projects. Now, what would be the siguro in the whole process? What would be the most difficult part for you in the whole thing about architecture?
The most difficult part was when I did construction. Because I had to be, that's my own thing na. I wasn't an employee. I start my own company, but more on construction. And
Mm.
the hardest part with construction is that I have to deal with three kinds of people. I had to deal with a client, of course, to present the good project to them and ask them of the cost, how much would it cost, magkakot. I also have to deal with the suppliers. Kailangan ko mag-negotiate ng lowest cost for
Mm.
the prices, for the materials. And the worst part for me was really having a hard time was dealing with the workers. So, tatlong klase siya from the client and then the suppliers and then the workers. So, workers ako nahirapan ng husto because I wasn't prepared that I
Mhm.
had to be ready even yung mga personal problems nila, and I had to be ready with yung ugali nila kasi it was very hard for me. It was very hard for me to pay them salary, every Wednesday and Saturday magpapasweldo ka eh. And then as
Right.
soon as you gave them their salary, right away kagastos sila na bibili sila ng pang-inom. And
Uh-huh.
then their wives would ask me, "Ma'am, nagpasweldo na po ba kayo?" So that's the
Hala.
hardest thing for me kasi pati yung mga personal problems, you had to handle that as well. So I eventually had to give up on the
Mhm.
construction side.
Mhm.
But after that naman, I went back as an employee, pero OFW na. So
Okay.
lahat
So
talaga naikot ko.
okay, so let's
Yeah.
let's let's talk on that. Let's touch on that subject about being an OFW. So saan ka pumunta basically, and what was your experience as an
Mhm.
OFW?
Okay, I worked in Brunei for 5 years. The first 4 years was great. I was working with literally the royal family. So my clients
Wow.
is the sultan, the prince, the princesses. Yeah,
Whoa.
so I was doing mansions, I was doing palace. So yun yung mga talagang projects ko. It's fun, interesting, but towards the end, yung fifth year ko na, because lumipat ako ng ibang company. And on the fifth year, that's the time I had a problem. Yung employer ko was not paying me for a full year. So, yun
Whoa.
yung naging grabing time
Wait,
ko.
wait, wait, wait.
So,
You were
yeah.
not paid for a full
Pero,
year. How did you survive na wala kang payment for
full
1 year?
year. Discarte. I had to do a lot of sideline. It's a good thing as an
Oh my
architect. I
gosh.
have a lot of other
Mhm.
skills. So
Okay.
if I'm not getting, and I was able to save up because remember I'll be working in Brunei for the first 4 years, and I was able to save up. Lang in sweldo, wala akong utang. Hindi ako nagka-utang. I was still able to pay even yung kotse ko.
Wow.
Na-handle ko naman yung pera. But of course,
Mhm.
nung alam kong ubos na, I have to decide. I have to decide what I'm gonna do next. So what I did was I filed a case against my employer. And I'm very, happy na and thankful na the Philippine Embassy, OWA, was able to help me. Tinulungan talaga nila ako.
That's
I've
good.
heard a lot of stories na
No horror
walang
stories, yeah.
nangyari, walang tumulong.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. But my case, tinulungan talaga nila ako. And because of that, I was able to, I did not proceed with the case because if I did, I will stay in Brunei
Yeah.
until the case
Mhm.
is still ongoing and
Right.
I cannot find any other job. Kasi hanggang may kaso ka, my visa is still under my employer. So hanggat
Right,
hindi
right.
nare-release
On
yung visa
hold.
ko from the employer, I cannot find another job. So, yun, I had to decide na okay na, tinanggap ko na yung offer. Hindi ko na tinuloy yung kaso. But eventually, I won kasi sila yung nag-concede. So that
Mhm.
actually, that's how I started my job, freelance career.
Okay, so we're gonna move to that, no?
Yun.
Just wanted to touch on that because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to because if those of you don't know, just joining us, no, I'm with JP Espino. She is the digital architect, and we've been talking about her journey. Actually, the title of this episode is the blueprint of the digital architect, which could actually be a title of a book if in case that happens in the future. Uh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
pero we wanted to see her journey from graduating as an architect in University of Santo Tomas, and then she's dun sa last na ano natin sa OFW siya. And then that's when she said, that's when I started my digital journey. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So out of a, I would call it I hope it doesn't sound naman na parang offending, no? But it somehow became a very desperate situation. Eh. Let's face it. I mean, not being paid for a year,
Correct.
you can't just sit down do nothing, no?
Mm-hmm.
You have to do something. You have to be creative.
Exactly.
Kailangan ano ka, mawais ka. So that's why you went into digital
Mm-hmm.
work. So let's talk about that. So how did you now shift
Mm-hmm.
towards digital, becoming the digital architect or going towards the digital stream?
You're right, no? That's exactly how it happened. I was desperate. Remember, I filed a case, and because I filed a case, I can't look for another job. I cannot be
Mhm.
employed on kahit kanino pang ibang employee, and I cannot go home. So
Ooh.
literally, I'm pushed to the wall. I have no choice, and I'm desperate. So I was crying, and I was talking to a friend of mine na chat kami sa Facebook. And she said, sabi ko, anong gagawin ko? Ubus na yung pera ko. I filed a case, and I thought kapag nag-file ako ng case, marirelease na yung visa ko and I can find another job. Apparently, I cannot do that. So, and then she suggested, why don't you try going online? Try this website at the time, which is Fiverr.com. That's how
Mm,
you and me met, right? On Fiverr.
right.
So, diba? I started Fiverr.com. Uh, I created an account, and within 3 days, I got my first order. Just $5. So habang gumugulong yung, I was still having, difficulty on releasing my documents from my previous employer, doing the online jobs over on Fiverr. And I'm very lucky, at least at the time that I started it, competition wasn't that much, no? Hindi pa ganun ka-steep ang competition in Fiverr. And my gig, which is my first gig was sketch to CAD, or just a sketch to AutoCAD file, was doing great. So easily in the first month, I was already earning around $800 on the first month. And
That's not bad.
before
$800 is not
the
bad.
case ended,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, diba? In 1 month, before the case ended, I have enough money and enough confidence that I know I can start over if I go back to the Philippines. So that's how it started. Tapos
So,
pag uwi ko,
mm-hmm.
um, I was, pag uwi ko, hindi na rin ako nag-employee. Kasi I was so comfortable with what I was earning over Fiverr, and yung traffic in the Philippines, I know, uubuhan to BGC at the time. But I did apply for at least 3 corporate jobs, and I was
Mm-hmm.
accepted. In fact, their offer was very, very good. I was expecting probably like 40,000 a month lang, but they offered me a much higher, double what I was asking.
Wow.
But
Mm-hmm.
I still chose to do the Fiverr thing.
So basically, we all okay. For those of you watching right now, we don't know what that website is. Na mention kasi ni JP about Fiverr. It's FIVERR.com. It's actually where we met kami ni JP. Actually, JP and I our world started getting smaller because may kilala siya, she knew someone, and the next thing you know, oh, okay. So
Mhm.
I know the person you. Anyway, so we started. I met her as part of the Fiverr Philippines group, no, on Facebook. And little did I know
Mhm.
that that's actually where she started. So Fiverr is a website where you can offer your services for $5. At that time, it was at least $5. Now you can increase it all the more, and it's actually a very good place to start when if you're
Mhm.
going for digital work, no, online. So that's where you started, no. This
Mhm.
was ano ba to? Way back 2000 in what year?
To, hmm, I can't remember.
Mga 20.
I think 2015?
Yeah,
2015, yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Right. Right. Yeah, hindi pa masyadong competitive tsaka complex ang
Mhm.
Fiverr nun. Very very simple. So you started from that.
Mhm.
What gave you that eureka moment, no? Meaning kasi you had offers eh. It's not like when you went back to the Philippines, you didn't have offers eh. You had offers, you
Mhm.
had reputable offers from reputable companies. Yet, I guess beyond the traffic, which I'm sure it's a
Mhm.
thing that we think about when we want to work, But beyond the traffic and beyond that comparing naman na meron kang offer, it's not like there's no offers. In fact, it's three offers pa nga. But why did you still choose to go freelancing?
Uh, to be very frank, I did the math. I was being offered 80,000 pesos for a good corporate job. At that time, when I went back, I'm already earning more than that on Fiverr. This is only 3 months after I started Fiverr. So if we do the math and 80,000 pesos, deduct PhilHealth, deduct SSS, deduct the tax, deduct the, you know, minus the transportation cost,
Transportation,
minus the
food,
clothing allowance, yeah,
yes, yes.
food. So, I'll be left with probably about 20,000 pesos.
Okay.
And if I have less job, on I'll be earning a lot more. Diba? So, yun talaga. I did the math and sabi ko nga, probably because um, I started Fiverr in a time that there's not so much competition. I had good skill to offer. So in
Mhm.
2 or 3 months, I was already earning $1,000 at least a month.
That's good. That's good.
So if I get more than that, that's more than what I could earn doing a corporate job. And then we have to remember there's 4 hours of traffic. There are probably problems with your boss or your coworkers. There are
Right.
other issues that I have to go through. You know, so no-brainer sa akin yung piliin yung online job eh. Kumbaga, I have more money here, I'm more relaxed, I can work whenever I want to work kasi Fiverr
Right.
is not naman on a per hour basis eh. It's just
Yes.
output based. As long as
Yes.
you can, deliver the order, then that's okay. So, yun talaga.
Well,
Diba?
let me just appreciate you because remember this was 2014, 15. No, freelancing wasn't
15.
as popular kasi before nila, lalo na
Well
before, no,
known.
when we were talking about making money online in the Philippines around that time, people were just thinking of blogging. If you remember that, a lot of news outlets were talking about
Mhm.
making money online, panay blogging, but not about doing freelancing. No, so
Mhm.
I want to just appreciate you because you're very brave. I mean, oftentimes when we talk about working, people would either uh, go between freelancing and having a corporate job, they'd rather go for the corporate job kasi the idea or the notion is yun yung
It's
stable,
stable daw.
'di ba? So, yun yung
Mhm.
usually yung ginagawa sa atin, 'di ba? I mean, yung pinag-uusapan natin. But but I appreciate you kasi ikaw you took the freelancing route simply because hindi it's not just like oh bahala na si Batman, but you did the
Mm-hmm.
math, which is not just the math, lalo na magaling ka sa math, sabi mo nga magaling ka sa math, but not just the math, but also the benefits that come with it, diba? So, siguro that's also an encouragement to people out
Yes.
there who might be watching or either live or later on,
Mm-hmm.
that if you happen to think about going through a freelancing, if your skill or the service that you are offering, you can actually make more from a corporate job. Not that we're saying that it's having a corporate job is not a good thing. It is. If you're happy with your corporate job, more power to you. But there may be some people out there when thinking about, I want to have my own time and do my work and my passion. And sabi mo nga, not have boss, not okay sana ko, okay yung boss mo, freelancing might be a better way to go. Not to mention earning more. No. So now that you're in that situation,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I am not going to go muna. I'll try this out. Let me check this out. Looks like I'm earning more. When did the whole digital architect come? When did it arrive? Ayan, tell us a story about that.
Okay, before I went to that, you touched on blogging. The reason why I'm also not so doubtful on earning online because also started blogging and earning from blogging years before. So
Wow.
nung hindi pa kilala yung blogging, wala pang kilang bloggers. Way back 2005, I was already blogging and I was earning from it. Nung 2005 with my blogs, hindi na ngayon iniisip to, pero there's certain ranking in Google. So there's PR1,
Mhm.
PR2, PR3,
Right.
PR4. And if you go on a higher PR, then you get more traction, you get more
Right.
visits, and you can earn more. And that was the metric back then,
Back
2005.
then.
My
Yeah.
blog at that time was already on PR4. So I was
That's then.
already getting sponsors. I was getting invited in blog events, ganon.
Mhm.
So, earning online was not something new to me. Kaya when I shifted to just offering my skills on Fiverr, I know na darating sa akin yung pera. Because that's the first problem eh. That's the first doubt. People would think, totoo ba yan? Kapag
Yes.
ginawa mo yung work, will you really get paid? How will you
Right.
get paid? Eh, nasa ibang bansa siya. So, way back 2005, I was already earning, pumapasok ko siya sa PayPal ko, and even time, nasa ganun amount na rin yung kinikita ko, nasa 40 to 50,000 na. Tinamad lang
That's not
ako.
bad.
Tinamad lang ako with the blogging. So I stopped, 'di ba? So, yun, could you touch on that background? Kaya ko siya naalala na, oo nga. But you are right. Because when I was doing Fiverr, yung simula ko, even my own parents would tell me, maghanap ka nga ng trabaho. Ito yung exact word ng mom ko maghanap ka nga ng trabaho, hindi totoong trabaho yung ginagawa mo.
Mhm.
I would get that sermon every day. I would hear that from my mom.
Mhm.
And they think it's not a real job. They think I wasn't earning from it. But
Right.
tinuloy ko lang siya. Because alam ko naman may pumapasok na pera eh. And I was earning. I was able to provide for my daughter. Napapag-aral ko naman
Right.
siya and all that. Pero even though a lot of people was telling me, that's not real, or actually, meron pang ang worst is akala nila alam mo yun, naghuhubad ka sa camera when you're doing online job. Nung
Okay.
unang panahon, ganun ang di ba? Nung unang panahon, ganun yung isip ng mga tao. When you say that you are working online, people think
Right.
ganun yung ginagawa mo. So, meron pang mga ganong
Mga
thinking. But,
mga thinking, yeah.
tinuloy ko siya. Diba? Tinuloy ko siya. I know I'm doing well. I know I am serving a lot of clients and they're happy with what I'm doing. And it's also very exciting for me because as an architect, I will probably be stuck in designing two-story homes or probably just, when nung apprentice ako, yung under mentorship pa ako, one full year, I was only drawing toilets. Ganun yung
Toilets. You're
experience ng
drawing
isang
toilets.
buong taon,
Wow.
puro toilet blow-ups lang ginagawa ko, isang buong taon. Because that's the least na gustong gawin ng architects. So because I'm the youngest and ikaw yung
Ah,
apprentice,
okay.
ikaw yung walang alam,
Mm.
ibibigay sa'yo yung
Sa'yo binato
pinaka-ayaw na
lahat.
trabaho. Yes, so buong taon, puro bani lang yung ginagawa ko. And I really appreciate working online because as you know, as an online worker, I was able to do search and development in London. I was able to do
Mm.
university design in Africa. I was able to do a
Oh,
lot of um, clinics in US. I was able to do even yung bag. Hindi man ako nakakabili ng bag na mamahalin, pero I know
wow,
the shops
nice.
all over Canada was the one that I designed. So I will not get that same experience if I wasn't working online. So
Right.
nag-enjoy ako sa ginagawa ko and mas na-open up yung opportunity sa akin because I was working online. So nag-stick ako doon. And the question that you ask is how I became the digital architect
Right.
is I ang nangyari kasi is I embraced the freelance life.
Mm-hmm.
I went to events. I connected with other freelancers. I asked questions. I enrolled in a lot of courses. So I embraced the freelance life. I enjoyed it a lot. I attended a lot of
Mga meetups.
meetups even,
Yeah.
and because of that, I learned more. Yeah, because of that, I learned more from other freelancers. Then I realized this newfound knowledge, earning quite well for the time, probably 4 years na akong free. I'm earning money, and there are a lot of people still unemployed or having a hard time. Naisip ko, bakit hindi ko i-share to? You know, bakit
Mm-hmm.
hindi ko ikwento sa iba how I earn online and maybe I will be able to help other people. I didn't start with the digital architect branding. I started with Fiverr workshop. So my very first workshop was with Manila workshop. Ginger supported me and believed in me. That very first workshop was teaching other people who wants to learn how to earn online with Fiverr. So from there, again, gumulong na naman until nag narrow down ako sa niche na I want to help architects. If I was already helping other people earning online through Fiverr, then I could probably help architects and do
Right.
the same thing so they can earn more.
I remember, oh, by the way, for you guys who are online with us, and let me just segue on this one before we go to the next part of the interview. But if you've got questions, you're watching us on Facebook, you're watching us on YouTube, and you've got questions, please go and post it on the chat, and we'll get to it as quickly as possible. You can ask JP anything other than ask her in marriage because that's something we don't do here. You'll
Ay,
need to
sana
direct.
meron na. Sana rin.
pag gano,
I'm praying
pag
for
may
that.
ganon, email nyo kagad ako, ha? And then I'll forward the details to you. Okay? Not on the spot ba? Wag naman muna. May mga certain requirements si JP on that, no? Okay? But again, if you got questions, please post them on the chat, and or maybe after this video, maybe you naisip nyo lang meron kayong other questions, just post it there and we'll forward it to her, and we'll try to reach to her, and hopefully we'll be able to answer them. All right, so siguro just to encourage then also those others who are thinking of doing freelancing, no, sometimes the hardest part really is because you think you're alone, and you're the only one that can do
Yeah.
this, or you feel like parang um, where do I start and all of that, and that's sometimes the problem is when people don't find other people who do it, No, so that's why when you're surrounded with other freelancers, you get to learn from them. And actually, sa totoo lang, no, nowadays, and JP, we've been, I mean, you've been doing. How long have you been doing digital? Doing this, no, for since 2014. So if we do the math, that's almost like 8, 7 years, no? Mga ganyan, ano? Mga
Mm-hmm,
seven
yeah.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Tama ba? Yeah. Ang
Yeah.
laki ng pinagkaiba ng 7 years, ng 2014 at 2021. The community of freelancers and even the state of freelancing today is so different compared to years ago. Like JP and I, I started freelancing, doing freelance work. I've been there for 12 years. So mga 2014 din ako nag-start in Fiverr. We started there. Um, you had to explain to people what you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're a freelancer. Ano yun? No? So, but now when
Mm-hmm.
people hear, oh, I do freelance work online, people already have an idea of what you do. They,
Yeah.
and there's not anymore that thinking of, oh, you take off
And
your
they're
clothes.
very
No.
interested na.
And that, yeah, and the label that came with it is, oh, so ang dami mong pera. Which is uh it comes, well, yes, if you work hard. Again, freelancing is,
Mm-hmm.
if you work hard for it, it will come back to you with those returns, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so we just wanted to emphasize on that, because that's the direction that not just JP has done. There's countless people have done that. In fact, on this show, we've got some other people lined up who will be part of the show that will talk to you about their freelance life and how their passion transported them into a financially suitable work, no. So now for JP, by the way, guys, again, let me just let you know that we have our special guest tonight, JP Espino. She is the digital architect. As far as I know, she's the only architect I know at the moment who's really pushing the whole idea of digital
Mm-hmm.
not just freelancing, but bringing architecture in the digital space. Now we're talking about this part of, we're talking of not just freelancing but the digital space. But let me ask you, JP, no, ano ba yung naging mga challenges mo knowing that it's digital, knowing that maybe some people don't really get it, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
sa'yo may pushback ba? Was there a time wherein maybe certain was there a pushback in terms of, wait a minute, that's not how it's supposed to be done. It's supposed to be done this way
Mm-hmm.
or that way.
Mm-hmm.
Lalo na that architecture is one of those fields that's been with us for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was there a pushback in your case?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pastor, before I answer your question, I would just like to ask your permission that I also went live on the Digital Architect page so that in case they want to ask more questions, please comment in and I'll answer your question. We are
Mm.
here on Curious Talk Live with Pastor Rodney. Please follow his YouTube channel. And if you could move there and watch us from there, that's much helpful as well. Nasa
Yep.
isang,
Appreciate
nasa
it.
isang platform tayo. Yeah. So, challenges. Na-mention ko na kanina, no, na even my own family was doubting me if I'm doing real job, di ba? Sabi nga nila, tumayo
Mm-hmm.
ka nga dyan at maghanap ka ng totoong trabaho, mag-apply ka because our parents or most Filipinos, ang alam nilang trabaho are the traditional jobs that you have to apply in a corporate
Mm-hmm.
job, be an employee, have a boss, and you get your salary every 15 and 30. And me being at home in my pambahay, on my
Mm-hmm.
laptop, does it look like I'm working? Yun yung perception eh,
Yeah.
di ba? So people think, hindi ka naman nagtatrabaho, nakatambay ka lang sa bahay, nakatanga ka lang dyan parate, naglalaro ka lang ng games. Because people will think,
Oo, naglalaro ka ng games.
di ba, I'm on my laptop, pero hindi ako talaga nag-work. So that's the first one. People thinking if I'm doing a legit job. And then secondly, is of course I have to prove them na I'm earning, I'm getting real clients, I'm serving real clients, and I'm doing real job. So next would be since this is not as stable as being employed,
Mm-hmm.
na you probably on January you'll be hitting $3,000, but on
Mm-hmm.
February you'll be getting like 400. So hindi siya stable. But the good
Right.
thing is, it's only like that if you look at it as a freelancer, meaning just you or services. But like what you've always told me and a lot of other freelancers, we should not be in the comfort zone of being in a platform, freelancer ka, nag-offer ka ng service mo. You should
Yeah.
look at it as an entrepreneur. So it's up to you to get more clients. It's up to you to get yourself there, build up your online presence. It's up to you to raise up the awareness of other people on what you do, and hopefully for them to see you as with a higher reputation, for you to get them easily, or at least think of you right away when they need your specific service. So if you start thinking that way, na hindi kasi to trabaho lang, hindi ito magsasubmit lang ako sa'yo ng project. But if you think of it, akin to, business ko to, ako mismo yung kailangan mag-build up nito, and not just wait in a platform to get an order like we do in a Fiverr, then it also makes you observant on what else that you need to do. So kung you have to work on this, you have to work on your branding, you have to reach out to your clients, you have to narrow down your niche, you have to find leads. The income also follows. Kasi intentional na yung ginagawa mo, hindi ka lang naghihintay ng trabaho, hindi ka lang naghihintay ng clients to message you, hi, I need you to do this drawing. Diba? Ikaw yung magsasabi na, this is me, this is what I can do, maybe I could be of help.
That's why it's not freelancing is actually more than just waiting for stuff to happen in your lap, no. Hindi That's why it's not for everybody. But let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, if you do get, what changed for a lot of freelancers, no, was ako, I don't know about you, but maybe it is, no, JP, but for freelancers, the time when they receive their first pay, regardless kung $5 ba siya, or $1 siya, or 500 pesos, or 1,000 pesos, the first time they get to be paid doing work online, it gives you that idea na, uy, possible pala to. This is real.
Mm-hmm.
'Di ba?
Totoo pala
So
siya,
that
hindi
that
magic.
kind of opens, oo, totoo pala siya, no? Parang so it now starts really opening the doors of your mind to possibilities. So tama yung sabi mo,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully we'll talk more about that later on, because a lot of people din kasi they think about freelancing as like everything is coming in or whatever. No, there's an art to it, and that's the reason why it's also great
Mm-hmm.
that you can be part of not just groups but know people who do the same thing, so that they can
Mm-hmm.
teach. One of the things I appreciate lalo na sa Philippines, no, yung mga freelancers natin dito hindi maramot. Wala ko pa ako ewan ko kung may kilala kang maramot na freelance. Kung meron man,
Kung meron
most
din,
likely
wala siya.
mahirap mag-grow yung
Baka
mga
wala
ganun,
siya,
ha.
wala na siyang client.
Oh, wala na, hindi kasi
Diba?
minsan may
Seriously.
ganun eh. So, when I say that is because, we do have a thriving community of freelancers here in the Philippines. And uh really, if you're watching this and you're thinking, "Hey, I want to try this out." No? Then yeah, you can talk to me, you can talk to JP, you can reach out to us here at Curious Tech Life, and hey, we're more than happy to help you out. So, let's go back to what I asked, no. You mentioned, I asked, was there any kind of pushback knowing that this was kind of like bringing architecture in digital? How does that work? Parang ganun, di ba?
Yeah. Yeah, ang isa ko pang problem before was, um, I'm an architect, pero I am, doing things as a, I don't know how to mix them together. Although I'm already the skills as architects would have, pero it's just skills. My clients would see me as a freelancer, but they don't see me as an architect. So,
Mm.
hindi ko alam kung paano siya pagsasamahin. And that's one thing na ko nahirapan ako. That's why I came up with the branding, the digital architect. Because I have to mix it together eh. Para
Mm.
sa
Mm.
isip ko lang, kailangan makilala ako as an architect, not just a freelancer. So, dapat idikit ko yung word na architect, no? For those who are wondering who I am talking to, I'm talking to Pastor Rodney over Curious Tech Live. This is his YouTube channel. Please jump there at dun kami pagkwentuhan para makita nyo naman
Yep.
si Pastor Rod at hindi lang boses niya ang naririnig nyo. Yeah. So again, that's Curious Tech Live over YouTube. Yan. So
Yep.
I started with that, the branding. And to be honest, I think that's the very first thing I did right. To come up with the
Mm.
branding, to come up what I want to be known for, and to come up with simply a direction. Anong gusto kong mangyari? Because I decided, ayoko maging freelancer lang. Kasi sayang naman yung pinag-aralan ko. Pero,
Right. Yeah.
being on the digital scene as an architect was also not, sabihin na natin, accepted at that time. Nobody would think you could close a deal over internet. Nobody would think na pwede kang makipag-transaction from another client just with chat. Pero again, matigas ulo ko, pinanindigan ko na eto gusto ko eh. 'Di ba? Ito gusto ko eh. And I just started sharing to them what doing. Kakaiba yung takbo ng isip ko because I think as a freelancer. I don't think as a typical architect na you have to go to site and then doon ka makipag-meet sa client mo. You probably have to go to, they probably have to go to your office before you can close the deal. Yun yung nasa isip eh. Kailangan meron kang office, meron kang firm, meron kang tauhan, meron kang taxman, meron kang engineers. And honestly, I don't want to
Right.
do that. Diba? So, doon ako nag-start. Tapos, alam ko lang nakakaiba kasi ako. Kakaiba yung how I do things, how
Mm.
I manage my firm, how I go about with my business as an architect, and I shared it to them, and they liked it. They find it intriguing. Probably they were interested. Probably some of them was doubting about me, but that also
Mm.
kept the attention, di ba? Nandun pa rin yung traction na ano pinagagawa nito. Hindi ako naniniwala dyan.
Right.
But kahit na nagda-doubt sila sa akin, because of that, nakakaiba ko, they also started following me, seeing
Right.
moves, seeing whatever I'm doing, and
Right.
doon na lumaki yung the digital architect.
Actually, what's very impressive about the digital architect brand, no, guys, if you haven't visited their Facebook and social media, go do check her out, no, the digital architect. Ang ganda lang nung yung formation ng brand na yun eh, kasi everything that you need to know is in just one statement, the digital architect. In fact, I like it so much that it's not just digital architect. It's
Yeah,
it's like making a
I'm the
statement. I
only
am
one.
parang ganun eh. Parang snap
Name ko talaga,
snap, parang
ako lang
ganun eh.
yun.
Oh yeah, parang ako lang, I am the. But and what I appreciate about you is that you went through uncharted waters. Particularly here in the Philippines, no, and when digital was not really not as real to us as now, but you came to a time wherein you were the, I would say, one of the very few that was very courageous enough to go through this, no, because you already saw somehow, hey, I can take this to the next level.
Mhm.
In fact, guys, if you're there have been many posts that she had that went to 1,000, or sorry, 1,000,000 views. Tama ba? Di ba may mga views ng gano'n na parang,
Yeah,
and it's
nagmi-million
organic
nga
ha,
ako. Pero ngayon medyo
hindi
low
siya,
because I'm not all
you're not
organic.
posting that much. Pero hindi ka nag-ads, 'di ba? Kasi yung iba, inisip
Mm.
nila ads, Facebook ads, ganyan.
Yeah,
Pero
hindi.
ito, guys, this is organic track, organic talagang views, And then that's when the brand started expanding. Kasi nga
Mm.
bago, not just because it's bago, but I also think that it's serving a market, not just a market, but even the field itself. I think a lot of architects are starting to open up. A lot of architects are on Facebook, and for them it's just a way to connect with people.
Mm.
Pero man, so with that brand, I know that the digital architect became a jumping board for you. So how did the brand, and not just the brand
Yeah.
but you, open a lot of doors for you
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the architectural scene,
Ay.
not just here in the Philippines but
Mm.
globally. Medyo paandar mo kami ng global, kasi mina-mention ka kanina eh, baka na-miss ng iba eh. Oo.
Okay. Prior to the digital architect, I'm already working online, right? On Fiverr and everything. But hindi ako ganun as I mentioned, no? I was only being known freelancer who do 3D, who do rendering. But because of the tech, um, nagkaroon ako ng more clients. You know, I started attracting traction, and as well as sabihin na natin a lot are getting to and ano yung kakaiba sa akin. To be really honest, no, I didn't have that much local projects prior to the digital architect. I was doing skill-based projects abroad. My clients, pero skill-based yun, meaning I was just doing for one project. I was just doing probably drafting for this company. Pero hindi siya sariling design. So, pabaligtad ako. Not grow globally. I was already working on a global scale. Pero yun yung medyo maliit pa ako. Naging okay na yung the digital architect. That's the time I started getting more clients locally. And get clients locally is better than that. I was able to practice architecture. Yun na yung nakagawa na talaga ako ng, you know, I'm getting projects na buong na nagawa ko. Hindi lang drafting, hindi lang 3D.
Right.
So, prior to the digital architect, I was only getting 2 to 3 projects per year. 2 to 3 projects per year. Pero nung kasagan nakilala ako as the digital architect, which was last year, umaabot ako ng 10 to probably 15 projects per month.
Yeah, actually there were times na nga na
Close.
parang like
Diba?
you don't sleep anymore eh. 'Di ba? May mga times na
Oo. Kaya super
talagang
naman ako
I
ngayon.
am bleeding brown from the coffee.
Diba? So, yun. No, before the digital architect, kilala lang ako sa freelancer. But of the branding, because of how I was able to build up my reputation, mas nakilala na ako as an architect. And career-wise, you know, being in, mas malaking bagay sa akin yun. Although, I'll be honest ha, parehas lang yung income. Hindi ganun kalaki. Kasi, as a freelancer, doing animations, I could easily earn 4,000 a month sa dalawang project lang. Kasi I was already commanding $2,000 per project on Fiverr. So, dalawang project lang makuha ko sa Fiverr, that's already $4,000.
Right.
Local projects, nasa ganun lang din naman yung kinikita per project. So, hindi ganun kalaki yung difference. But because I'm doing my own design, nabubuo yung project ko, di ba? I'm talking to actual homeowners na sinasabi sa akin na this is how I want our home to be. Meron akong clients na literal na umiiyak because they're very happy that I took in their project. Alam mo yun, minsan iniisip ko nga rin, bakit ganun? Sobrang taas ng tingin nila sa akin. Kasi meron talaga akong mga clients na may makikita ka dito. Wait lang, iuusog ko lang. Kasi magbubukas si Jaya ng aircon.
Okay. Hi,
Sorry
yeah.
for that.
Pwede siya mag-special guest ng content, just say wave a little bit. Hi.
Ayun.
Nakita ba yung kamay niya?
Nakita ba yung kamay mo? Kamay lang. Medyo hindi siya nakaayos yan. So, mas more fulfilling nung local projects na yung ginagawa ko. Kasi buo na siya. Nagiging totoo na siya. And yun nga, from before the digital architect, nasa 2 to 3 projects lang ako per year. And then, nag-balloon siya last year. Last year yung pinakagrabe ko.
Yeah.
Na umabot ako sa time na umiiyak na ako kasi 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 ako na yung pagod na ako.
Yeah.
And on top of working on the architectural projects, I also get a lot of, invites for interviews, webinars. But
Yeah.
I cannot stop any of this. Yun nga if I could, akala kasi nung iba, it's easy because I'm always on camera and they see me always happy, probably naglalakad lang sa beach.
Mm.
Akala nila sobrang chill lang yung buhat ko. But it's not. Kasi yung ibang digital creator, all they have to focus on is creating digital content. Mag-video lang sila, magpo-post lang sila, but for me, I have to manage too because I also have to take care of my architectural projects. So, mahirap siya pagsabayin and I cannot choose. Pag pumili ako ng isa, babagsak yung isa. Pag pinili ko yung digital creation or as a digital creator, mga kailangan kong gawin doon at pabayaan ko yung projects ko as an architect, mababaw pagagalit din yung clients ko kasi madali. Pagka naman nag-focus ako on the architectural projects and people are not seeing me, just like now, hindi nga ako masyadong lumalabas sa Facebook, hindi ako masyadong nagpo-post, then the branding per se naman yung bumababa. So, ang hirap na sabayin.
Well, again, you're those are certain things that you have to do now, because you are
Mm-hmm.
trying to build and stabilize a brand. No? And maybe for those who are watching us and they're looking at freelancing, it's not easy. It's not.
It's not.
You're going, lalo na if you want to have a stable kind of freelancing thing, you'll need to have at least three income streams just to make sure that everything works well. No,
Mm-hmm.
because the goal is eventually you get to have a brand that can work for you in the long term. So medyo guys, kung nag-iisip
Mm-hmm.
kayo na freelancing and you say you think it's easy, it's not. But it will pay off
Yeah.
with a lot of hard work, with a lot of patience, a lot of determination, a lot of grit. This will pay off in the long
Mm-hmm.
run. Remember, you are not building a sandcastle. You're building a palace, and you're doing it brick
Yeah.
by brick. So that's why it's
Mm-hmm.
important also to be surrounded with one. So like, even like for JP, yeah, it's umpisa lang yan. Eventually, you'll look back and say, wow, tsaka again, pinaghirapan mo eh. It's different when you work hard for something, no? But I just want to point out, JP, no, remember that you've got so much things to do. Last year, this was during the height of, or even the beginning of
Mm-hmm.
this pandemic, you were
Yeah.
still working. You never had any like lull moment. So that's a blessing. Not just that,
Yeah.
but you also
Correct.
got to, and what I love about what you were doing also was that you were not just closing clients and projects and all of that, but you got to uh, help the next generation or even the current generation architects and next generation architects, to help usher them into this new realm of digital, because if we don't embrace it, you'll be left behind. So ako appreciate that you're helping bring that
Thank
level
you.
of professionalism
Mm-hmm.
in the architectural fields in the Philippines, no? Siguro we don't have much time, but so I only have like two more questions. Ito lang, medyo parang Tito Boy ang dating the question, no? But don't worry, there's no mirrors here, walang ganyan. But I do have siguro three things lang, no? What are the three, siguro just to highlight lang siguro, what are the three, because you mentioned something about projects, what are the three projects that maybe big, maybe small, maybe known, maybe unknown, what are the three projects
Mm-hmm.
that to you so far stands out na parang, okay, this one I like this project because then blank, and this one I like it because can.
Mm-hmm.
So can you name me three projects if you can? You don't have to mention names if it's something
Mm-hmm.
like in your non-disclosure, but what are the three projects that you so far is something that, okay, this is near and dear to my heart, or this one changed everything for me? So three things.
Okay. Kakaiba yung sagot ko because I am not going to answer a specific project as an architect because you might be waiting for I would say this mansion that I did here, as an architect.
Mm-mm-mm.
Hindi yun eh. As the digital architect, there's three facets of me. First is that I'm a freelancer. Second is that I'm an
Mhm.
architect. And third is the advocacy. The advocacy was not intentional. It's only because a lot of people are seeing my posts, and somehow a lot of people are starting to listen to what I say, and somehow may konting influence na nagmamatter na yung sinasabi ko. That's how the advocacy started. And when I say advocacy of, spreading the value of our profession, for letting people know what we are about and what we can do for them, not just as an architect, not just for the profession, not just for the industry, not just for the community, but for every Filipino who wants to build their houses and thinks hindi nila kaya magbayad ng architect, so they would go to a
Mm.
legal practitioner. So, naging tatlo siya. So, I'll probably answer your question sa tatlo rin. So,
Okay.
let's start with architecture. One of the things na I'm very proud of an architect, not necessarily during the time of the digital architect, was when I did Istana Nurul Iman. Istana Nurul Iman is the main mansion or palace of Sultan of Brunei. Although I was not
Wow.
able to do the whole thing, it was Leandro Locsin who did the design for Istana Nurul Iman. But to be able to be given a chance to redevelop a part of it, maliit lang na part of it,
Right.
was very fun for me kasi literal na I was talking to the prince and princess. Sila
Wow.
mismo yung kausap ko. Nakikita ko sila naka-duster. Alam mo yon yung ganon. And, yeah. And I climbed up the scaffoldings going dun sa bahay nila. Yun, that's very fun in something na akala ko hindi ko magagawa. So I'm very proud of that as an architect.
Mhm.
Next, let's touch on being the digital architect, being a freelancer. One thing I'm also very proud of na nagawa ng digital architect is na-merge ko yung dalawa. Na-merge ko yung architecture at saka yung freelancer. If you talk to freelancers and say JP Espino, they know me as the digital architect.
Mm.
They know me, siya yung freelancer na architect. Sabihin na natin those who matagal na kasi tayo sa freelance industry. So we have the same
Yeah.
circle, 'di ba? So
Yeah.
if you talk to any of the freelancers that we know, kilala nila ako. Meaning nakapag-plant na ako ng seed in the freelance industry kung sino ako, kilala na ako. And I'm so happy na I was able to do the same in architecture. Prior to the
Mhm.
digital architect, wala naman nakakakilala sino ko eh. Kasi wala naman akong
True.
magandang project. Alam mo yun, wala naman akong kamanghamanghang project na, wow, bongga. Walang ganun eh. Hindi naman ako as an architect eh. But because of the branding, because of the advocacy, because of the digital architect, a lot of people was able to, at least get to know who I am. And hindi naman sabihin na natin, I'm very honored, no?
Mm.
Because of that, I was able to be elected as an officer in my chapter na ang
Right.
talagang hindi papakita pero the year na nagpakilala ako sa kanila, naging vice president agad ako. And I
Wow.
was offered national position, not just in one committee, but I am now holding positions in 3 committees na national. So, alam mo yun, yung
Wow.
hindi ko kilala yung mga taong nandun eh. Pumupunta lang ako sa UAP headquarters pag nagre-renew ng lisensya at hindi ko sila kilala.
Mm.
But because of the digital, I was able to chit-chat with the national president himself and the rest of the MANCOM and kasama ako sa mga
Right.
meeting, being part of the, sasabihin na natin na think tank of what's happening within the industry or within our profession, napakalaking honor sa akin nun. So, that's, and because of the digital architect, I was also able to help a lot during the pandemic kasi nung kasagsagan na kailangan ng tulong ng frontliners, we started ECQ March 2020. And the
Yeah.
first week of March 2020, meron na kaming movement, donation drive that was able
Right.
to help 400 hospitals all across Philippines. Umabot yung mga aerosol boxes ko sa Zamboanga, sa
Wow.
Zoom, sa Benguet. Yung naging tulong sa akin, as the digital architect, being in the digital scene. And lastly, the advocacy. Because
Right.
dakdak ako ng dakdak online because people always see me fighting for our rights because people always see me saying, this is who we are and people should know what architects are all about. I get messages from kids saying, Ma'am, gusto ko na
Mhm.
rin po maging architect. Or I get
Wow.
messages from archi students saying, Ma'am, alam mo, ayoko nang dati, but because I've been seeing you do this, blah, blah, now I am more inspired and motivated to continue this kahit nahihirapan ako sa course na to. I'm getting messages from, clients who would say, I'm so happy to mo ako as your
Wow.
client. Ganon, pabaligtad na yung ako yung maghahabol sa client. Baligtad na siya na tuwang-tuwa sila ng, wow, thank you, tinanggap mo ko kasi alam ko marami ka ng ibang projects. So,
Mm.
yun yung tatlong nangyari sa akin being the digital architect. And to be honest, I thought tapos na. Akala ko, sumikat lang ako, sabihin na natin, sumikat lang ako dahil nag-pandemic. Dahil first yung taong panoorin ako dahil bored sila sa bahay at nasa Facebook sila. And I thought, I'm done. Pero I can see that this year, ganun pa rin eh. I'm getting interviews, I'm getting people saying the same things, being inspired. I get messages from architects asking me questions. I get messages from future architects, yung mga estudyante pa lang, asking me questions or saying they're being inspired of what I'm doing. I'm getting more offers from people. So, hindi pa siya tapos. And in fact, yung nasimulan ko last year as the digital architect, simula pa lang. Kasi kung dati nakakonduct sa Facebook against illegal practitioners, puro
Mhm.
dakdak dati. And people thought, puro dakdak lang ako dati. Maybe they noticed hindi na ako masyado nagpo-post about it. That's because may kaso na. That's because umusad na. That's because may nangyayari na. And although we cannot tell people of the details of what's happening, pero
Right.
hindi lang ako puro dakdak, hindi lang kami puro dakdak, UAP and Anti-Illegal Practice Committee are already moving forward. We already have
Mm.
cases against illegal practitioners. And this is something na it's napakalaking bagay para sa
It's
profesyon, para sa
truly
atin.
it's truly professionalizing architecture in the Philippines.
Mhm.
No. And not just that, but I think you guys are also, not just you, but everyone who has the same heart. They want to make sure that whatever the next generation that wants to go through architecture will have a much better future than the current ones. No. Plus, elevating architecture to that state wherein it needs to be taken seriously. No.
Yeah.
So siguro as we close, grabe, do you know that we're almost like an hour and a half? I mean, we can go all day just talking about what you've done and all the things and even your plans. We haven't even talked about, oh, by the way, guys, if you happen to, be interested, please do get in touch with JP Espino. Uh, she is more than ready and willing to talk to you about it, kahit na nasa Boracay siya ngayon. Tama ba yung handle mo, 'di ba? It's at the digital architect. Did I spell it properly? There you go.
Yes.
So yan yun. So you just
Mhm.
look for her at Facebook. She's there. And just say hi. Ay, napanood po kayo namin sa Curious Talk Live. Anyway, but I'm sure she's, and there's just ako, I see there's just so much more that you can do, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that you're helping bringing architecture to a really, different level digitally, because it makes the Filipino competitive globally. Eh. We're
Mhm.
now in a global landscape now. Eh. So it's great that we can bring that to that level. Siguro as we close, and I'll give you the
Thank
floor
you.
for this
Mhm.
one. What are your parting shots? What are the things that you wanted to say as a parting message to everyone who's watching? Whether they're thinking of freelancing,
Mhm.
or maybe they're thinking of going into architecture, or whatever. What's on your mind? So I'll give you the floor, and address the nation. Go ahead.
Well, adjust the nation. First, I would like to thank you again, Pastor Rodney, for having me over Curious Tech Live. That's the channel, Curious Tech Live. But this segment is called Curious Talk Live. So please do visit his YouTube channel, Curious Tech. And parting words, I would just like to say thank you to those who believe in me, to those who's following my footsteps, to those who are um, sabihin na nating had or getting a new drive into fighting for the profession. Kasi sabi nga sa hashtag nakalagay, protect the profession. And I'm doing this not just because I want to get more clients. I'm doing this being everywhere on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, everywhere because of I really want people to get to know what architecture is about, what architect is about, what our profession means, and what's the value that we could give them. This if I can see a lot of people doing this na no, marami nang gumawa ng Facebook page, marami nang nagte-take part in engaging, marami nang nagko-comment, nagla-like, nag-share, and a lot of people are being active online talking about our profession, no. And I'm very happy with that because the more awareness we do across the board, meaning kung saan namang social media network yan o kung saan mang um, website, blog man yan, or TikTok man yan, it makes people understand para saan ba tayo. And the more people understand what our profession is all about, the more people is aware of what value that we can give to them, then we can get back the respect that is for our profession. That they would realize that architecture, being an architect, that license that we seal on their blueprints is not just a seal, not just a firma, but it's also respect for all the architects before us and also respect for all the future architects who wants to be like us. And basically, we just want to make this world a better place. Diba? So I hope all of you guys would continue, following my footsteps, maging mainit po tayo on social media, maging mainit po tayo on our own practice, show them what we've got, and be very proud of who we are and our profession. Thank you. Thank you again, Pastor Rodney.
Hey, thank you again. A little parting shot, guys. Again, technology is a very exciting thing. In fact, for all for all this time in all of history, today is the most exciting time to be part of technology. We're in a world is so connected. All the tools that we have are not only more affordable, but their quality is much higher. I mean, who would have thought that right now I'm interviewing JP while she is in Boracay, thousands
Uh-huh.
of kilometers away, and we're having this conversation right now. Would have thought of that? Only today can we do this. So, we want to encourage those, gusto namin po kayo encourage lahat po ng mga nanonood today, those who are, whatever profession, whatever passion that you have, to use technology wisely, use it effectively, and use it so that you can bring your passion, your business, and your life to the next level. Don't let it bring you down. Don't let it plague your life with stress and all of
Mm-hmm.
that, because technology can do that. But if you can harness the power of technology and do good with it, it will be good to you as well. So again,
Mm-hmm.
JP, please do go and check her out on Facebook at the Digital Architect. And
Mm-hmm.
by the way, if ever soon, no, kasi do you know that she also has a book, but medyo sold out. So wala na ho kayo mahanap
Ready?
na book.
Mm-hmm.
Ano
For
pa?
now.
ano pa yan, ipiprint pa niya pagbalik siguro niya, no? But
Mm.
it's all sold out, no? But we're hoping that there will be follow-ups and all of that. But again, thank you, JP. Thank you so much in behalf of Curious Tech Life. Thank you for being part of the show. I know it's late and everything, but uh, we appreciate you for being here today. Thank you for saying yes. And do stop by again if you have other stuff that you want to talk about. We're more than happy to
Ah,
bring you back in. All right.
I'm
Well,
just a
that is the
chato.
blue. Oh yeah, thank you so much. So do go
Mhm.
and get in charge. Sorry, do get in touch with her. And guys, that's it. That is the blueprint of the digital architect. I'm sure there's so much more. But we don't have a lot of time. Again, we just want to remind you guys once again, please do check out our Curious Tech Live YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Curious Tech Live, wherein we provide you with tips and trips and everything in between about technology and let the benefits upgrade your life. Again, this is Rodney Garcia, your host with the most, the Tito of Tech, at least in the Philippines, but maybe in the around the world. But the
Ang
Tito
cute
of
nun,
Tech, the
Tito
host.
Hostek.
Oo, I know, man. Naisip ko lang yun the other day. No? But anyway, uh, baka yun na yung brand name ko. Who knows? But
Ang cute
thank you
niya.
for joining us today. This is Rodney Garcia, Curious Talk Live. We'll see you again next week. And just as always, stay home, stay safe, and stay in God's presence. God bless you guys. And we'll see you again very soon. Thank you. Thanks, JP.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.